Hi, everyone. Welcome back to A Life Well Spent, or welcome if you're new here. On this channel, I'm documenting my financial journey. My name is Kelly. I'm a single woman. I am north of 35. Let's just keep it at that. And I have really had struggles in the past keeping control of my money. I've never done anything like bonkers, crazy irresponsible. But I have definitely not been the best steward of my money, I guess is the best way to put that. I have always had a good enough income. My God, I'm an English teacher. Can you tell? My income has always been solid enough that I never really was in a situation where I was really concerned about whether or not I was going to be able to, make it to the end of the month. And so that's definitely a very privileged place to be in. I absolutely recognize that. But it also put me in a position that I think for some people, it's a little bit harder. It's harder to force yourself to behave with money when you aren't being forced to by your circumstances. So I had to teach myself to get better with money, to behave with money. And part of this is documenting that journey for myself. And, I wanted to create a community of people who are kind of in the same boat as me and needed somebody to kind of hold their feet to the fire a little bit. And yeah, that's where I'm at. Because I'm single, I don't have anyone, peering over my shoulder, watching what I'm doing, anyone that I have to kind of bounce purchases off of. It's just me. So I need to be able to find a way to hold myself accountable, find a way to track what I'm spending. I used to do that with cash. And after the pandemic hit, I stopped using cash so much, but I also was then purchasing a lot of things online, which you're not doing with cash. So that made it more difficult for me to keep in mind how much I was spending. If I had a category with $100 in it, then I knew, okay, there should be $100 here. There's only 50. I have spent 50 and I only have 50 left. So that was a lot easier to keep track of. Now that I'm doing digital, I gotta log. I gotta log them all the time. So I'm getting receipts now and making sure I'm logging my transactions so that I know how much money I have in each category to spend. So on my channel, like I said, it's documenting my financial journey, but I will do these are real numbers. This is really what I'm spending. This is I do weekly wrap-up videos. That's what this is one of my weekly wrap-up videos. I do budget videos. I'm going to get ready here. It's getting to the end of April. I'm going to start planning out my budget for May. So I will do a video to tell you what that's going to look like. I'll do closeout videos where I'm going to close out my budget for the month and, show you that process. The weekly check-ins, I think I already said. By the way, I'm also doing this pretty much on screencast. I have a lot going on in my life. I really don't have time to kind of edit and all of that kind of stuff yet. I'm I'm finishing up a program. A week and a day. I have three major papers due in a week and a day. One is almost completely finished. The other two have been kind of mishmash. I've got pieces of it done. But they're all due by not tomorrow, next Friday. 8 days. Counting today makes 8 days and 7 hours. So once that happens, once that's over with, I will have an infinite amount of time more compared to what I have now. So then I can actually get into some more stuff where I'm actually talking about money things, like saving, investing, all of that kind of stuff. And I really do want to get into that. For what it's worth, for right now, it is just screencasts. I'm kind of a one and done, so I might flub things and I might kind of screw up as I'm talking, but bear with me, please. Ultimately, I decided I would rather do these and not be able to do them as well as I would like than use the not being able to do it as well as I would like as an excuse to not do it at all. So here we are, forge ahead. So I will also do net worth update videos. I will do, money goal videos, whatever my current money goal is. Right now I'm working on paying off all of my consumer debt. I only have my student loans left, so you can follow my debt payoff updates to see how that's going. And yeah, sorry, my arm itches, and I feel like you can probably see that on screen. But like I said earlier, this is a weekly wrap-up video, so let's get into it. I'm going to shrink this down. You should see me in the upper corner and then be able to see my budget. So this is a template that I built, something I'm kind of working on, some design stuff. I don't know. I'm trying to find one that's working for me. I really liked, if you've never followed Budget Girl, you should totally follow her. I really liked the template she had. She had this free template that she built. And I had been using that for a while. I liked it, but I also wanted to have a better picture of like what I was spending when. And see like what I was spending in the first week of the month, the second week of the month, things like that. So I started doing it this way with a transaction log. And one of the things that I really do love about this log is all of these categories here match up with my budget categories. And so if I enter something that's coming out of a specific or going into a specific category, like my income, it will feed into that automatically. So I don't have to total any of this stuff up. It's totaled up automatically for me. And I love that. Love it, love it, love it. So let's get into, let me see, this will start on the 15th of April because I'm doing them like the 1st through the 7th, I'll do on the 8th, the 7th through the, or the 8th through the 14th, I'll do on the 15th and so on. So on the 15th, I got paid $31.72. This is my employer sent me an email and said, hey, we have this outstanding check that was never cashed. As I guess they were going through and like cleaning all of them out. And they asked me if I wanted it. And I was like, well, yeah, obviously. I'm not sure how I never cashed it. I must have lost it. And I usually get reimbursed for things like if I've had to go buy something, I put in a reimbursement form, or if I've gone and traveled for like to a conference or something like that. And it was weird because I kept thinking like there isn't anything that I would have only spent that money on. Like if I'd gone to a conference, it'd been way more than that because it would have been like mileage and hotel and all of that. So I haven't the faintest idea what that could have been from. And then as I thought about it, I think I remember what it was. I think that, when my office was being cleaned, somebody bumped something and broke it. And, I remember talking with the head of the maintenance department, and he's maintenance and custodians, and, showed him the broken thing. And he said, okay, well, go buy a new one and give me the receipt. And I'll cut you a check. And I think that that's what that is because it's the only thing that makes sense in my head. And I apparently never cashed it. So there is a charge on my account from Apple. So my parents and I, we did the family sharing with our Apple accounts. Mostly because I have a ton of movies. Like my dad would just kind of go to the store, grab a movie and buy a movie that he wanted. And he didn't really pay attention to the fact that there was like a digital download involved. And he didn't really care. Like he didn't have an Apple TV, he didn't have Fire Stick, anything like that. They do now, but they did not then. And so I was like, I'll take the digital, thanks. And so I have this huge library of all of these movies that are digital. And so and my parents, like, it's way more complicated for somebody to come in and operate my parents' entertainment system. And it's much easier to just pull up a Fire Stick. And so that's what they do. But my dad also wanted to be able to have access to some of the digital stuff. So then we combined our Apple accounts so that they could do that. And in doing so, I didn't realize this at the time, but I made, because I'm the head of it, I made my Apple account the default purchase account too. So my mom last April, probably last April 17th, decided, I think she accidentally upgraded to like the paid subscription thing for the Weather Channel app. And at first I think she was just kind of like, whatever, it's $30. It's not a big deal. And then she's like, I don't know, maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't, I don't know. And then I don't think she ever really thought about it again. And then I get this charge that pops up and I realize it's going to get charged to my account because mine is the default card on there now. So I sent a picture, I took a screenshot of it and sent it to her and laughed. And so That's what that charge is. And then she sent me back $40, probably because it's going to cover the next couple of monthly storage charges too, because apparently there's no changing it. I can't determine like what's going to be where. So that's a bummer, but it's fine. I'll just have to, kind of remember to do that in the budget, and it'll be fine. It's not, I mean, she pays me for it. I'm not having to pay for it for her, but that's what that is. Very strange thing. I did pay for my administrative certification because I passed my exam. Wahoo! And now as long as I throw these 3 papers together and get them submitted, I will be able to get my certification. And how the Department of Education works is that they don't start processing anything. You don't even get in line until you pay for it. So I thought, I'm going to wait till I pass my test, and then I'm going to pay for my certification. And then when everything is ready to go, my university will look into it. Like they have the information, so they'll be able to like log in, go pull up the cert and verify that like, yes, this person completed the program, blah, 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 whatever. Rather than having to like wait in line. And it's very difficult right now because a lot of teachers, are going to be graduating at the same time and all of that stuff. And in the spring, the line gets long for certifications. So I'm trying to get in there as soon as possible. Let's see here. So that was that. Now that came out of my admin cert. So if you look down here, that came out of this. I did have a sinking fund set aside for everything that I was going to need for that. So between like tuition for my classes, books, things like that, my certification exam, which was like a whopping $450 almost. Actually, maybe it's almost $500. I forget. It was too much. It was too much is what it is. And then, I set some money aside. Now, I have remaining of that $37.57. I should not have another charge for that. There's another level of license, but that's like 3-4 years down the road, assuming that I get a job right away in administration. So with that in mind, I'm not going to hang on to that $37.57 just for that purpose. So I will actually just, when I close out my budget, move that into the cushion. There's my leftover monies. That just seems like the most reasonable thing to do with it. So I did go to Wendy's. I had a doctor's appointment yesterday. And it was like at a weird time that was like I was leaving work before lunch, and the test was in a weird place that like if I had tried to wait till after, I would have been way too hungry and probably give myself a migraine, but I didn't have enough time before either. So I was like, all right, it's going to be road. And I don't know, somebody is calling me. We'll have to see. I'm going to pause this. Oh, that's my mother. Hold, please. It's going to look like a weird edit, but I am back. So sorry. That was my mother. And then a friend stopped by. And so I don't even know if I look the same at this point. So I think we were on Wendy's. Yes, went to Wendy's because it was just kind of the thing that was going to fit the best, and budgeted for it. So I'm okay with it. Probably would have maybe gotten a little bit less because if you look at my restaurant, it's $42.10. I usually only budget about $40. I expected to go out of town and do some things, and one of those things was to go eat at a restaurant that I've been dying to eat at. And that didn't happen. So I knew that I had some, kind of wiggle room in the budget. I'm not trying to go too crazy. So there's only 8 days left. I may or may not go, back at some point for some kind of fast foodie something. Just pretty much as a trade-off from having, I don't want to spend a lot of time cooking. I want to be able to like just eat something quick. And then get cracking on my papers. So there may be some more trips and there may not be, but that's what it is right now. I did need gas. I'd have to check my last month's budget. I think I also filled up one time. And this will be, and honestly, if I didn't have the appointment in a hospital that's about half an hour away from me, I probably wouldn't have needed gas at all. So part of me is kind of bummed that I needed it, because I thought it would be fun to go a whole month without having to get gas, but c'est la vie. So, got gas. And then Country Store is like this little, we call it the Country Store. Like, I know what that means, but I honestly don't know the actual name of it. But it's this cute little, literally country store that has like bulk foods and stuff like that. And they've got a lot of like stuff for gardening and whatnot. And they have this really great compost. It's a lobster compost. And I've had a lot of success with it in my garden. So I needed some more compost, mostly because I have a whole bunch of garlic and onions that I'm growing for the first time, and they needed to be fed, especially the onions, because onions are really heavy feeders. So I needed to put some compost down, because I planted them actually in the fall and let them kind of winter over, and now they're growing. So with that in mind, I needed to stop and get some of that, and that can be a little bit more on the more expensive side. That's like $9 a bag. And while I was there, I saw a great deal on strawberry plants. So I bought 50 strawberry plants for like $20. Which is fabulous. I'm pretty excited for that. I have this big strawberry bed and I haven't done anything. The beds were planted before I bought the house, and this summer, this July will be my 5th year in the house. So, they're not really producing as well as they could. And I mean, it's been 5 years, so it's probably time to get them out anyway. And I had intended on ripping them out. I didn't know if I was going to put strawberries in there or not. I thought maybe I would, and I thought maybe I'd plant something else. I just wasn't really sure, but then I saw the strawberry plants and they still had them, and I thought, okay, I'm going to replant with some strawberry plants and we'll see what we can do with that bed. So they're sitting in my fridge right now because I don't have time to plant them until next weekend. And the last one, oh boy, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with this. That's a payment to my Discover card, which I use to buy my MacBook. I got a new MacBook. My old MacBook she's dying, and I don't mind spending that much money on it. I know it seems like a lot, but I'm okay with it. I had hoped for my MacBook to make the one that I have to make it longer, and I just didn't. It just didn't. It's kind of to the point now where like I can't update any of the browsers or anything like that, so it creates security issues, etc. And I have had this thing since like 2008, 2009. It's pretty old. So I figure $1,400. I got like the little dongle so you can, use a USB. And so anyway, I got some accessories, so I figure it's worth the money to me because, I mean, this old computer lasted me about 10 years. Before it was like really, really to the point where I stopped using it and just kind of wanted to use my work computer instead. So it's been great, and it's done great things for me, and I'm so pleased with Apple, and I'm so pleased with my MacBook. So I really didn't have a problem with getting another one. I pulled that money out of my savings. I had some money saved up for, initially it was for if I had any kind of issue with COVID that I had to, like, I kind of went into like emergency pile up cash mode because at first we didn't know if we were going to keep getting paid. And then we found out we were, so that was nice. And then, I thought if I get sick and I end up being like a COVID long hauler and I can't be at work, then like I'm going to need some money to support that. So I just basically I stopped paying off debt, stopped doing everything, and I just piled up cash. So now I have a pile of cash. I still don't think I'm necessarily in the clear as far as long haul COVID. Like, I got it. I had minor problems, but they're also finding that people that were asymptomatic 3, 4, 5 months down the road have problems. So I wouldn't consider myself totally in the clear there. Also, the way that I want to move forward in my career, I don't know that I can do that where I currently work, and I may need to move. Because I'm kind of casting a wide net. That may mean that I will have to, sell my house and move. I have never sold a house before. I don't know how much that's going to cost. Even moving, I moved here and it probably only cost me like $500-$600 for the movers, but they had only done a couple of hours of work because I was really only moving like an apartment's worth of furniture. Like I bought a lot of furniture when I got here. So I don't really know what in total that's going to cost me, like how much it may cost me to get the house ready to sell, how much it may cost me to like fix something that, came up on the inspection as weird or whatever. So yeah, I don't quite know what to do with that. So I'm just kind of keeping that money there for things that I need to buy. I did know that I was eventually going to be needing a new MacBook. I would have liked to taken some time to save up. I was hoping that we got new computers at work, and I was actually originally thinking that I could just buy the computer that I had been using for work for personal, because sometimes, they let you do that. And in the past they have, but this time they did not let us do that. So that was disappointing, because I thought for sure I could make it a couple of years and then just put a little bit aside and then buy a new MacBook. But that didn't happen. It's not really going to pull anything much out of my budget. I mean, it kind of looks like it has, because I just marked it into personal, but marked it to come out of savings. So I may change that so it doesn't look like I busted my budget that badly. But yeah, it's going to be over. It's paid within savings. So that's the big thing for today. I soon will have a video, I think, that's going to kind of walk you through how I set up my budget. I still owe everyone a net worth assessment update. I will owe, very quickly coming up here, my actual final budget for May, and then a wrap-up budget for April. I don't usually do, well, no, I guess I can do a week 4 one this year, because this month. And then I'll do the wrap up a couple days later. So that's where we're at right now. I'd love it if you stick around. Hopefully this is something that is of interest to you. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you like this video. Leave a comment below. I'll see you next time. Bye.